Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Welcome back, everybody. We got lots to talk about today, and this is something that's been on the minds of many and continues to be, and it escalates every single day with lots of changes in the business world taking place. AI and how it affects businesses and how to transform or adapt the use of AI to your business or organization. We're going to look at that today. And she is somebody that coaches businesses all the time in all different areas. One of them being AI. She's got a great book, by the way, called The Dark Side of Agile Coaching. She is the CEO and coach at Innotar. And Angela Doyle is back with us. How are you doing today?
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. Glad to be here.
Lots to talk about. And when we got together a bunch of weeks ago, we did start talking a little bit about AI. Kind of skimmed it, but we never really went into it. And today we got to talk about it because it's coming to the forefront, even with the new administration. You and I, we don't do politics, but this is what's going on right now. What do you feel are some of the challenges a lot of organizations are facing today with a whole new wave of AI coming in?
Well, I think there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of emotion that's happening with AI right now, a lot of unknowns that's happening with the new administration. And every new administration we go and we deal with this as Americans and as our nation. But I think there's just a lot of rapid changes that are happening, AI being one of them. And it's hitting a lot of businesses and it's disrupting a lot of businesses. So I think that fear is one, and the unknown is another that kind of feeds the fear. And I think if we, as our talk today, if we can help alleviate some of the fear and concerns, and maybe help us understand how we can pivot our mindset to maximize some of this AI benefits to your companies, whatever that company is in industry, then I think we've achieved our goal for this particular session. But that's what I'd like to do. There's
a lot that goes into it, and then there's the knowledge of it. Whether people are literate in AI or not, but then even if you know quite a bit about it, you don't know everything about it because it's ever changing. It's ever moving. Then the ethical portion of it, where did the photo come from? Where did the copy come from? All of that. How are you seeing those concerns right now?
That's a major concerns, especially with cybersecurity and various different things that kind of feed into some of that. So, when you think about it, if you implement and you're trying to implement an AI, and I think every organization and every company is going to have some type of AI, and that is to help our automation, our processes, maybe the routine work that we do to automate some of that with AI and have some predictive analytics so we can understand and make better decisions as CEOs, as executives. But I also think we can't just get on this wagon of AI and forget about some of the major risks that also accompany AI. Implementation and AI agents right now. It's thought to be a very much a trillion-some-dollar business that's going to benefit a lot of companies. But being able to implement AI in a quick way without thinking about the other side of the coin, which is the ethical, the regulations, the ethics, the AI biases and algorithms that you need to be able to monitor. How are you going to alleviate and mitigate some of those risks so that it doesn't hurt your company, your brand, or your customers, or their privacy and their data? That's what needs to happen in order for AI to be successful, but also to reduce any of that risk and to monitor that risk on a daily basis.
Do you feel that since COVID, a lot of jobs were lost. A lot of downsizing took place. Businesses closed and never reopened. And now you got AI. Do you think that that's sped up the push for AI?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because of COVID, I think when people worked remotely, they weren't able to get to work. Some
Mm,
industries actually closed because they did not have a way to work remotely. And organizations didn't have that platform to be able to take maybe orders from a remote perspective. Then, and they didn't have the systems in place, the infrastructure in place. So therefore, a lot of their companies, we don't see them anymore. Restaurants, we don't see anymore, as you know that. Some of our beloved restaurants that we love to go to, they just didn't have that infrastructure set up so they could take online orders. And because of
wow.
that, that has, I think, accelerated AI's adoption and rollout. So that's why I think that that's kind of accelerated it so that there is both benefits. So they see some of the benefits, but also we need to make sure that we also see and understand what those risks are so we can mitigate those risks and have those guidelines, those standards and the regulations in place so that and governance in place so that we can make sure that we're not subjecting our companies, our organizations, and our customers and our people to a privacy or data risk that could destroy some companies and our customers and
Mm.
consumers.
Well, this comes out of the category, can't beat them, join them.
Hmm.
What can we look at within AI to kind of alleviate some of the fears, make it more palatable, make it a more positive situation for businesses looking to elevate or adopt it?
Well, I think that in order to look at that, you have to think about how your company is now. What is the current situation you are in now? What's your current state? So, doing an assessment of what your processes are, what your company does, the people that you have and the skill set they have. Do they need to be upskilled? Okay, do you need to provide some AI training or education? This is the entire company. It's not just for the leaders. It's not just for the IT teams. It's not just for HR. It's for everyone. Do you need that type of skill set to be able to implement AI or adopt AI? And a lot of times it's education. When we learn more about a certain new technology or new application, then that alleviates some of the risks, some of the concerns, and alleviates some of that fear. The other thing is determining what's best for your company. What's best for one company might not be best for you or your company because it's the way you do business and it's what products and services you provide. So you want to know and you want to pick the right one for your company that's going to be a good fit. And you want to roll this out in a very iterative, and I will say agile way. And so you pilot a few AI projects first. You determine from the feedback and the return on investment of those projects whether you want to proceed, whether you want to pivot, or whether how you're going to scale it across the entire company. And it may be
Hmm.
areas you scale.
What about some of those fears? Some of the fears that businesses might have right now. Can we look at those,
Absolutely. Let's dive in.
please? Like, I would. It's uneasy if you don't know about AI.
Yeah,
First off, I would say if you're anybody and hasn't toyed with it, ChatGPT, start playing with it just to get a feel for what it can do. Be advised, it runs way deeper than ChatGPT, but that's a good starting point. But what are some of the other fears?
I think there's a fear of displacement
Mm,
because my job is going to be replaced by AI. And there might be some routine jobs that are going to be replaced by AI, but then how can we alleviate that as company stakeholders? board of directors. How can we alleviate some of those fears by upscaling our current staff so that they have the skills and the education they need to be able to pivot into this new era of AI, artificial intelligence? So just giving our people the things they need kind of and the skills they need and the education they need, the training they need, so they can feel a little bit more like they're prepared for this change. I think the other thing that's the fear is well, what kind of door is this going to open up from a cybersecurity perspective? About data, and if you don't have cybersecurity or very good cybersecurity protocols or a team, right now is the best time to get one.
Yeah.
You can't go through the future into a new technical, digital-driven transformation, which AI is driving that, without some type of cybersecurity team implemented in place as part of a regular routine check and a team that's going to be focused on keeping your data and your company safe.
How about be it an executive or a business owner just worried about this is just too detailed for me. It's too complex. What are your thoughts there? How do you address that?
So I think that, when you think about it's too complex, that's why we want to break it down. You know, it can be very complex. I mean, AI, when you think of AI, it's artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is, chat bots. It's chat GBT. It is natural language processing. It is machine learning. It's all that deep learning. So what is it that we can break down to make it small increments so that you can understand it and you can see that from a complexity level, it's very simple depending on what your company does. And the first thing you can do, as you said, Steve, is experiment with ChatGPT. How can we help leverage ChatGPT and some other language models, Copilot, and Claude, or some of the others? How can we leverage that to make our lives maybe a little bit easier? Because we don't have the ability or the time to research or do some analysis on a particular technology or a particular product idea. And we need to have that research analysis to input into our product management and our product and our services team to determine if this is a good idea or not. So leverage that to do the research and the development. Leverage ChatGPT to write some really good features or stories and break those down. So I think I've seen that done quite good when it comes to certain types of products that are being built right now. How are we building it and taking it from a capability of 3 years and breaking that down into quarterly increments called maybe program increments or quarterly planning? So taking a huge life cycle of a product and breaking those increments down so that you can develop them in a more iterative way and you can pivot when you need to. Well, how do you do those requirements? Well, you might want to ask ChatGPT to help you write those technical requirements and technology. So using that for that, using it for HR, writing different responsibilities, writing vendor requests,
It's even just announced today, HP. Everybody knows HP. You probably have a printer or had one. There's so many different products, right? Business, consumer. They just announced today that if you need customer support, it will be a minimum of 15 minutes waiting on the phone. Minimum of 15 minutes waiting on the phone. Why? Because they want you to exhaust all other ways of getting support. One of them being through their chat function or automated function, or just finding, the information you need within their community resources on their website. So that's already beginning. And by the way, they say minimum. it's almost as if they're making you wait because they they want you to start using some of the other functions. So it's here. It's not going anywhere. How can businesses how can businesses minimize their risk of using AI while maximizing the benefits? Like how do you find that delicate blend there?
Well, I think sometimes, maximizing the benefits is understanding like where are the benefits for your organization. Every organization has different benefits and different values. What is the problems? Now, for instance, if your organization is healthcare, so maybe you want to maximize some of that
Mm,
response or that customer service. You want to get maximize the ability to find different diseases or understand what those diseases are and use AI to be able to research the various different diseases that are out there so you can have the appropriate treatment for people. They're doing that and they're scaling that and they're able to actually reduce some of the time it takes for treatment for a particular cancers or for particular diseases because they're putting all that information into a huge AI system
mm,
and be able to implement, and doctors are able to implement, treatments that are really tailored to that individual. And the other thing is they're reducing time to market for drugs. So those are some things. At the same time, they have to make sure those protocols of cybersecurity, of risk are in place so that it minimizes the risk and it maximizes the return on investment there. And it's benefiting, the overall customer and the overall research that they're trying to do.
from the consumer side, even just taking the HP story as a cue, it just seems like some of the personalization is going away, which I'm all about texting. Sometimes it's like, don't call me. I'll just text. I don't want to listen to my messages. Just a quick thing. We're good. We're done. However, I like talking on the phone. And
Mm.
it seems like that's gone away. And it's even faster to go away with AI. So your thoughts on that, leaving some personalization in there while increasing efficiency with artificial intelligence, that seems to be a delicate blend.
I think that's a fear too, is losing, that's another fear that people have, is losing that human touch.
Mm,
And even though I'm in IT, I still feel that there's times on the phone that I'm waiting, getting answers, or I'm put on hold,
yep.
or they're asking me to go to their frequently asked questions so that I can find information, etc. But there's something about that human touch that we also need to make sure there is a blend and a hybrid approach. I mean, eliminating all human interaction and human touch, I don't think that's a good idea. I think there has to be a hybrid approach to this.
Mm,
Otherwise, your customers who are human need to speak sometimes to a human, and that is so beneficial. So, knowing the right time and type of AI to use and the amount of AI to use is so important so that you don't lose your customers. Your customers, we can't forget our customers are human, they aren't robots.
yeah.
So, they need that human touch as well.
Great word, hybrid. That really says it all right there. That is the delicate blend, the
Mm.
hybrid between the two. And not that it was AI, but it was, I would say, the beginning of where we are today when the telephone prompt came into play decades ago. Press 1 for, press 2 for, press 3 for. And if I have to hear one more time, listen carefully because our prompts have changed. You say that all the time. That's just another way to get you to listen to the prompts. They haven't changed. They're all the same. But it's just, you just want to talk to a human. Sometimes you just need to talk to a human. But you know what? People are doing multiple jobs now and even more as we talk about. I mean, just no politics, just looking at the stories, current administration, job elimination, it's all happening there. So AI, based on what you're saying, it just looks like it's going to be exponentially coming our way because maybe it needs to at this point. Final thoughts, Angela. What would you like everybody to know? C-suite executives, just in general.
So, one, just make sure that when you're doing AI, that you have that hybrid approach, that you don't forget who your customers really are. They're human. And if we keep putting them off to chats, just like you said, as press 1, press 2 for telephone prompts, that we end up losing them. And that is something we don't want to do. So, what is the ultimate goal? So, proceed with AI with the end in mind. What is your end? If it's to increase customer interaction and engagement, if it's to delight your customers, then let's make sure we keep the customer in the center of our view.
It's right back to the beginning. The customer counts. The customer is always right. In the final 30 seconds here, your book. I spoke about it in the beginning. Tell us real quick.
So it's called The Dark Side of Agile Coaching. And basically it's about, how can we as coaches go back to that coaching mindset and where we are really helping and partnering with our customers and with our organization, our community, and those executive leaders so that we can work together to make a better business, and a better value for their environment, for their people, and so that we can work in a more collaborative way. So it's called The Dark Side because it talks about some of the pitfalls that we have as coaches and how we've gone down some type of a consultant mindset versus a coaching mindset, and empowering our people to take that next step to be able to be and meet their business goals.
Inotar.com, INOATAR.com. Do I have that right?
Yes, you do.
Beautiful. And details about the book on the website, as are you and how we can reach you. And, if you've got a company, even a C-suite executive, no matter what, there's a lot to learn in terms of leadership for sure. I'm waiting for the book, The Dark Side of AI. I don't know when that's coming out. I'm sure you're going to maybe
coming out pretty soon. Yeah.
Work on that one. All right, Angela, thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
It. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Let's go inside the mind of a 10-year-old.
I should have worn those earrings today. I like those earrings. Gabby has those awesome earrings. I need to ask her where she got those, but that's just what she would want me to do. I'll have Michaela ask her for me.
Buckle up, Sarah.
Yeah, but then Michaela will be like, why don't you just ask her yourself? That's just like Michaela.
Sarah, buckle up.
Michaela's such a great name. I wish I was called Michaela. There's like a dozen Sarahs in my class.
Hey, we're not hitting the road until you buckle up, honey.
Oh yeah, seatbelt. I forget sometimes because my brain is busy, I wonder if there's pizza at school today.
Sometimes it can be tough to get through to your kids, but it's not impossible. Always make sure they're wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Remember, you have the keys, you have the power. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.